Blackett of Soltar Solutions, and I'm here today on another episode of Focus Forward. I have an absolutely phenomenal guest for you today. He is an accountant by trade. He has written 3 books. His name is Tom Corley, and I will tell you right now, this guy is phenomenal. Everybody needs to get his book, Rich Habits. I started reading it last night. I could not tear myself away. It was one of the most interesting books I think I have read in a long time. Not only that, he gets right to the heart of the matter and explains to people exactly what the difference is between rich thinking and poor thinking. So Tom, tell us, welcome to the show, and tell us, how did you get this idea to write this book?
Well, the idea came from a client who was struggling financially, a small business client, an entrepreneur, who was really on the throes of bankruptcy. He came into my office, and the bank had pulled his line of credit. He couldn't make payroll, and he was distraught. And he broke down in my office and asked me, "What am I doing wrong in life?" What he was really asking, Lori, was, what were wealthy people doing that I'm not doing? So I decided to embark on a 5-year research study in which I analyzed the daily habits of 2 groups, the wealthy and the poor. I asked 233 wealthy individuals 62 questions, and I asked 128 poor individuals the same question. And what I found was there's a difference the size of the Grand Canyon between the daily habits of the wealthy and the poor, and these differences are the reasons why we have a wealth gap in America, why we have a 99% and a 1%. It's the reason why there are wealthy people and poor people. And I uncovered 10 core success habits that the wealthy employ on a daily basis, and that is what separates them from the poor, and that is the base of my book.
Okay, so now I want to get down and figure out exactly what some of those things are. And when we talk about this show here is for entrepreneurs. So what I would like us to do is kind of focus on things that entrepreneurs can look at, maybe their behavior patterns, and figure out maybe how they can make that switch from some of that poverty mentality to thinking more like the wealthy person. So give me some tips that an entrepreneur can use.
Well, we can be here for a week. I'm going to give you one small part of one rich habit that I call the self-improvement rich habit. I uncovered 4 strategies that wealthy entrepreneurs employ that are responsible for their success. I call it the read, write, speak, and do strategy. The objective in read, write, speak, and do strategies is to gain industry expertise, industry knowledge, to become expert in their industry, and to be able to communicate their expertise in their industry to their customers and their clients. The read strategy, wealthy people spend 30 to 45 minutes every single day reading their industry periodicals, reading books, they read newsletters, they read blogs, they read e-zines. They read anything they can get their hands on that's related to their industry. And the purpose of this is to gain industry knowledge, increase their knowledge base so they can uncover opportunities. When you create an opportunity to make money as an entrepreneur, then you're halfway there, because most entrepreneurs miss that step. They are just trying to eke out a living. They're not creating opportunities for themselves. Wealthy people create opportunities for themselves with this one strategy of reading every single day. Writing. Wealthy people engage in writing. They write books. They write for magazines, for industry periodicals. They write for newsletters. And the purpose, writing is a form of communication. So the purpose of writing is to convey their knowledge, showcase their expertise. And what happens when you write, because it's a form of communication, you have to delve a little bit deeper into a topic, into a technical area, than simply reading would allow. So you're knowledge base grows. Speaking. A lot of wealthy individuals engage in speaking. They do it to industry groups, trade groups. They do it with their customers. They do it in public forums, sometimes in church, synagogues, in nonprofit volunteer organizations. They showcase their skills when they speak. And because speaking is another form of communication, it's a two-way street, you have to dig even deeper in terms of your research on a particular topic so that you are able to respond to questions that might be asked. The last thing is doing. Repetition doing is probably the best way to perfect your skill. Doing something over and over and over again. Tennis players do it. Surgeons do it. Everyone else should be focusing on a skill on a daily basis and repeating that skill so that they can perfect it. What repetition does is it forces you to stumble across mistakes. So you get to see all the mistakes that could possibly be made, and then you repeat those mistakes so you perfect your skill set. So this is just one rich habit and these strategies really can transform your life. They create what I call opportunity luck, and we can talk about that. That's another whole topic. Wealthy people engage in these 4 strategies to create the opportunity for luck to occur in their life.
Wow, that is fascinating. You know, when you're talking about these things, you know, I'm a very active learner. I know we've talked about that before, but one of the things is I'm always leaving for another seminar. This year I've done 8 different very in-depth seminars and conferences all around the country. And one of the things that I notice is I see sometimes the same group of people at these events. And these people are learning, they're growing, and they're doing exactly what it is that you're talking about. They're writing, they're speaking, they're out there, they're in the trenches making it happen. And each time I see them, they seem to be doing something better, something different, and moving ahead with their business. So I think one of the big differences that I've noticed is the doing aspect of it. Most people that I find that are what I would consider the challenged people, which you're going to term poor, they would talk about the doing but never really do. You know, and then these other people, it's like there are so many hours in the day, and all those hours are filled with activities that are taking them in a direction. So, so tell me, that's fascinating what you've just said. And I think if people just took that one thing that you just said, that one habit, they could increase their opportunities for success dramatically. So what's another habit that we could use?
Well, just before we jump on to the next one, if your listeners, your viewers, I'm sorry, can download this report, I call it How to Make Yourself Unfireable. It's both to your customers and to your clients. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to download this report. It's on richhabitsinstitute.com. Download it. It's a free report, and it offers these 4 strategies to help you create opportunity luck. And talking about luck, there are 4 types of luck that everyone is exposed to. There's random good luck, there's random bad luck, there's opportunity luck, and then there's detrimental luck. We know what random good luck is like hitting the lottery. Random bad luck is getting struck by lightning. The opportunity luck is luck wealthy individuals create by following these habits, by doing certain things every single day that set them apart from everyone else. And detrimental luck is the bad luck that poor people create. Detrimental luck manifests itself because of the bad habits that poor people have in things like stroke, heart attack, diabetes. They may get terminated from their job. They may get downsized. Their income may be reduced because they're losing customers, lawsuits. So these rich habits are important to follow because they do. It's like hitting a double baseball. Not only do you eliminate detrimental luck. You get rid of that bad luck. Now you introduce a whole another type of luck into your life, opportunity luck. So you get a two for one by following these rich habits. And that is why wealthy people are so significantly wealthier. That's why there's such a big wealth gap. Because wealthy people don't have this detrimental luck, and they have this opportunity luck. And poor people have nothing but this detrimental luck.
Wow.
Now, yeah.
That's scary. And I've seen evidence of exactly what you're saying. I have seen a lot of people put their future, they gamble with their future by thinking that they're going to win the lottery, or that they're waiting for something to happen, as opposed to making something happen in their life. So a question I have is, you work with people that have this poverty mentality and this poor lifestyle, maybe the poor habits. How long does it take them to actually start to see the results after they incorporate the rich habits into their lives?
Well, this is the beautiful thing about the rich habits, is there's 10 of them, and there's components of these 10 that you can follow, and it's all laid out in my book. You can follow one or a component of one of these 10, and you will see a difference begin to manifest itself in your life within 30 days. What I'm finding out from my readers is a couple of things, and from myself, because I've been following these rich habits for 2 years now. What happens is there's first an increase in confidence caused by a shift in your mindset. And this change in your level of confidence is not internal, it's external. And that's important, because people around you that you work with see the change. And people their perceptions of you will change because they see your confidence level go up. Confidence is like nature's natural steroids. It puts you at a higher level of performing whatever job you have, do a better job when your confidence level is higher. So wealthy people have a real high confidence level because they do certain things every day, and these things, rich habits, create a higher confidence. It only takes 30 days, Lori, and then your mindset changes. Now, let me give you an example.
Wait 1 second. 30 days for them to see a difference? 30 days?
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, to see the actual manifestation of the rich habits in terms of money took me 3 months. I increased my income by $60,000 in 3 months, and I used one of the rich habits, which is the relationship management rich habit. Wealthy people have certain strategies that they use, 4 of them. The happy birthday call, the hello call, life event call, and networking and volunteering. I use the life event call and the hello call, those 2 calls, on one particular individual over a 3-month period. And a life event is when something happens in a contact's life, and you make a phone call to that contact, and you say, hey, I just noticed, I heard something happen. It might be a birth, a marriage. In this case, my contact's son, who was a basketball player, 10-year-old basketball player, made it to the free throw finals of a free throw shooting contest. So I sent him a copy of the article. He was a high-powered CEO in one of the pharmaceuticals here in New Jersey. I sent him a copy of the article that we had in the Southern paper, the Asbury Park Press here, and he called me immediately. And I think over the 3 months, I must have mentioned to this contact about 100 times that I do financial planning. So after the half-an-hour phone call, in which he's telling me all about his son's free throw shooting contest, he says, hey, by the way, I kind of recall that you mentioned that you do financial planning. I said, yes, I do. He said, I have an old 401k I've been sitting on. He said, would you want to meet next week and let's talk about it? So I met him a week later at his office. He pushed over across the table this piece of paper and I looked at it, and it was his old 401k, about $1.3 million sitting. I rolled that over into an IRA annuity and paid about $60,000. That took 3 months. That's when I knew that I had to write a book.
That is a phenomenal story. That is a phenomenal story. And you know what's really funny? That's something that I recommend my clients do. I have a whole list of touch points that clients, when I work with clients, that I recommend that they do to increase their business. And you know what? When people follow that, I have what I call a 30 by 30 list. They have 30 people on that list, and those 30 people they contact once a month in a different way. And it's just exactly what you're saying, sending them something that they'd be interested in, sending them, you know, giving them a call, you know, getting together with people for a cup of coffee, whatever. And that makes a huge difference. So there it is. I'm going to borrow that story, if you don't mind, because it's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So, so even if they just incorporated that one thing, I mean, you're talking about that one thing relating to $60,000 that you can directly point to. Phenomenal.
And this is the point I'm trying to make is there's 10 core rich habits. This is one part of one rich habit, and it's two variables in that one part, the hello call and the life event call. So you don't even have to follow one entire rich habit. You could just follow a part of one. A friend of mine this is a good story. He is a very successful insurance agent. He called me one morning and he said, God, I love your book. I created my own rich habits, just like you showed me how to do in the book. I got a problem. I'm only following 4 out of the 10 rich habits, and I feel like a complete failure because I'm not succeeding in all of them. And I said to him, Pat, I got to tell you, you're doing better than I am. I think on a good day, I follow 3 out of the 10. And he said, how could you be that? You wrote the book. And I said, well, I also happen to be human.
Exactly.
But I'm trying. And I said, Pat, it still works. Even the 3 that I'm doing still works. And he said, you know, the 4 I'm doing is working too. I'm increasing my business. I can see it happening. I said, that's the beauty of this, Pat, is you only have to take a slice of the pie and then eat a piece of that slice, and your life is improved in terms of financial success.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I know it's really difficult to implement some of the things that you learn because I've gone to so many seminars, and each one of the seminars, they have different principles that you should follow. Like, you're familiar with Jack Canfield, I'm sure, Chicken Soup for the Soul, co-creator. Yeah. Well, he has the Success Principles. And the Success Principles book, he has trainings that are you know, spin-offs of those. So we go and we work the Success Principles. And, you know, I talk to people at these events, and they can tell you, I'm living this principle, this principle, this principle. And I think that's wonderful. It's difficult to incorporate those into your everyday life, you know, 100 principles, for instance. But if you can start with just 3 or 4 principles, you can build from there, and you will see a difference. You will see a difference. So what you're talking about here, you know, first, you know, hold this book up, because I don't have a book. If I had a book here, what I was reading last night was the online version of it, you know, the ebook. But this book, I cannot wait to get this book. I am going to work these principles, absolutely. And I'm going to recommend it on future shows, and I want to tell the difference that this has made in my life. And also I want to get books for my clients, because it's important when you take on a client that you start to indoctrinate them into not just my philosophy, but other successful philosophies, so they can see the difference. You don't always know what people are going to adapt, but if you give them more information, you know, and your information is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely right on. So, so tell us about, I know you have quizzes on the online free quizzes. So tell us a little bit about those quizzes.
Well, you know, I'm a big proponent of teaching these rich habits to the kids. So I collaborated with the Christian Science Monitor, which is a big publisher. They profiled my parent success quiz, which is a 20-question quiz that any parent can take to find out if their kids are on the right track financially. And that's really important, even if you're an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs have children. And we're working so hard as entrepreneurs to be successful. We don't want to miss the big 600-pound gorilla in the room, which is our kids. Exactly. We want our kids to be successful as well. We want to pass along to them some of the success tips that we uncover in our life. Rich Habits is something that every parent should read and pass along to their kids, because they will be successful. Break that generational cycle of poverty that I like to call the generational cycle of poverty. Breaks that cycle. Mm-hmm. The poor no longer get poor. So I've given away probably 2,000 books to high school students and college students in the New York metropolitan area. And I've spoken to over, 1,500 business people and adults, sold as many books through the different organizations that I've spoken to. I'm trying to get the word out there. That's why venues like yours, Lori, help me greatly, because these messages, these habits are, to me, the secret to financial success. In my heart, I know I uncovered the secret to financial success, and I'm trying my best to get it out there to the world.
Well, I can't wait to help you in that effort, because I'm so excited. When I started reading that book last night, right away, first page, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And then I kept reading and reading until finally I said, because if I left to my own, I would be reading until 5 o'clock in the morning when I had to get ready for the show. So I'm going to, continue doing that. But it was really so well written, so easy to read, and really easy to understand. Like a lot of books that are, I'm just going to say, a lot of these financial books, you have to be a PhD to understand exactly what they're talking about, let alone try to implement it. But it was very easy to implement. You saw right away what you were talking about, understood exactly what the concept was, and you could see some of the things in your own life that maybe, you'd be doing wrong. Like you'd really have some habits that were, not really going to get you where you wanted to go. Let me just say that. So can you share another one? We have about 5 minutes left. Can you share another one with us?
Sure. I think there's really 3 things I wanted to get across before we end. One is, with the new year approaching, I think it's a good idea. Rich habit number 1 is, I call it the self-assessment habit. It's a good idea to, and I show you how to do this in the book, to self-assess, list all of your bad habits in one column. Be brutally honest with yourself. And then I show you in the book how you can invert those bad habits and turn them into good habits. For example, if one of your bad habits is, I watch too much TV, the next column shows your new good rich habit, which is, I watched 1 hour of TV today.
And I hope the 1 hour that they watch is this show. Okay,
I hope so,
this is an hour that's educational. So this is it's only half an hour. It's very educational. So if they're watching too much TV, don't cut it all out. Just watch Focus Forward. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. So this is where customizing your own rich habits comes into play. This rich habit number 1 shows you how to customize your own rich habits, create your own good habits, and transform your life just with 1 rich habit. Now, the successful people, to me, after my research, I realized that the difference between wealthy people and poor people is that wealthy people follow a process that is customized for success. Poor people follow a process that is customized for failure. Mm-hmm. Actually, if you're poor, you're successful because you're succeeding in executing your failure process. So the point I'm making here is that You're poor because you're following a process, a failure process. And it takes just as much effort to follow a failure process as it does to follow a success process. The success process is simply changing your habits, incorporating new good daily success habits into your life, and eliminating the bad failure habits. You just change the process in your life.
Okay, so what they have to do, Tom, is they have to get the book, because we're almost running out of time. So hold that book up for them again so they can see that book, and make sure that you get this book, because this book is going to be the difference for you. If this person here that's on the air told us that he saw a $60,000 increase in his business in 3 months, everybody should be running to the store to get that book right now. Is it in bookstores, or do we have to get it online?
You know, I keep seeing bookstores like Barnes & Noble and Baker & Taylor's a big distributor, and Ingram is another one. They keep buying up these books and stocking them in the stores. So I know they're in the bookstores. The best place to go, though, is two places, really. You can go to richhabitsinstitute.com, where I have the paperback for $13.95, and I have the ebook for $8. You can go to Amazon, and you can also buy the book there, or Google Books and Barnes & Noble Books. It's on every major online retailer. But if you go to richhabitsinstitute.com, not only can you get the book, but you get all sorts of free goodies like the free reports and the free quizzes.
Fabulous. Fabulous. That's great, because we're going to all go and we're going to get that book. I mean, I want to buy them in bulk so I can give them out, because that's, I mean, what better gift for my clients and for other people I care about. I think it's fabulous. I can't wait to get home and finish this book. So Tom, give us one tip before because we only have like 30 seconds. One tip, quick, 30 seconds.
20 to 30 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days a week of aerobic activity. That has to be the foundation of your exercise regimen. If you're lifting weights, great. Incorporate 20 to 30 minutes a day of aerobic activity, running, jogging, Stairmaster, I don't care. It feeds your brain with oxygen. It increases your metabolic rate, increases your level of energy, increases your focus. If you do just that, it will eliminate some of the bad habits, like the detrimental luck that occurs, like diabetes and heart disease.
Thank you so much, Tom. This has been a wonderful show. I really appreciate you coming on. I really want to work some of these principles and then have you come back. What do you think? That's good?
There.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in to Focus Forward. I really appreciate it. This is Lori Flaquet of Soltar Solutions, and I'm so happy that you are viewing today. Bye.
Hey, I'm Robert Dempsey with this week's Tips from the Net, and today I want to talk about social commenting systems. And so what that is on a blog you have a comment area, and rather than having just your standard comments like WordPress comments, you can actually use a third-party tool that will social enable those comments. So someone can not only leave a comment on your blog, but they can share part of that comment into social media, into Twitter, into Facebook, wherever, so that people can then come back from those social media platforms and engage in conversation on your site as well. So how can you get this for your blog? Well, there are basically three companies that have these right now. The first one is Disqus, which is D-I-S-Q-U-S, Disqus. The other one is Livefire. And then a third kind of hybrid of all this is the Treiber comment system. Now, Treiber comment system is a bit different because you have to be a member of Treiber to leave the comment, but it's another great way to engage with other bloggers, engage with other entrepreneurs, and get more people to your website. Now, the reason for using these is really a twofer, which I've mentioned. Number one, you get people to comment on your website, but also they can, again, share those comments and potentially get more people back to your website, more comments, more tweets, more shares, etc. even more people coming to your website and you having more potential leads to your business. So that's it for today. Check out social commenting systems, and I will see you next time on Tips from the Net.